What's up? It's George the Fragrance Press, and I asked you, yes, you, to come up with your hottest and spiciest fragrance takes. Although I think that one of you thought that I was asking for your spiciest fragrance recommendation, but that's fine. So let's have a look at some of these spicy hot fragrance takes, and I will give you my thoughts and opinions on them. Single fragrance reviews or videos about topics in the community are miles better than top 10 videos. So this isn't necessarily a spicy take about fragrances, this is a spicy take about Fragcom, and there were many spicy takes about Fragcom. But what I'll say is this: although single fragrance reviews and videos are very, very interesting, and they're something that I wish that I could do more of, YouTube punishes you when you try to do something new, and this is the problem with, especially in a niche like fragrance. I was very, very proud of the video where I explained Aventus at 5 different difficulty levels. Really, really enjoyed producing it, and I thought that because it was about Aventus, it would do well. It did not do well. You don't know this, but on our YouTube studio we have rankings, and you basically sort of compete against your other videos. And that did the worst. It was 10 out of 10, and not 10 out of 10 in the usual 10 out of 10 way. No, as in it was the 10th lowest video viewed compared to the other 10. YouTube punished me, the creator, for doing that, and then I did, you know, a top 10 video, and
everything was lovely once again. Wonderful.
Although I do agree with this comment and this take, especially if you're trying to grow your channel, if you're trying to stay on the good side of the YouTube algorithm, you know, it can be harder to do single view. And I've seen people comment just frivolously, "Oh, George, don't worry about the views, man. Views be damned, be creative," and stuff like that. It's not as simple as that. I can just be like, "Oh, views be damned," but then you get too many videos that have no views, and then YouTube just won't recommend you at all, to the point where I could upload a video and you'd never know about it. So it's not as simple. Another one about Fragcom: most YouTube fragrance reviews are just regurgitating the note breakdowns they find on Fragrantica and pretending like they're providing something new and insightful. Not meant towards you, George. Your enthusiasm and thoughtfulness and nuance are proportional to your passion of fragrance, and the community is grateful for that. You know, sometimes maybe, I mean, at the end of the day, there's only so many ways that you can describe a fragrance, and if a popular fragrance is on Fragrantica and it has a specific amount of notes, then your description of the fragrance is probably going to sound similar to Fragrantica or base notes anyway. You always aim to be more creative, but I think that I think that there's some leeway there. I find it suspicious when every YouTuber suddenly begins reviewing the same seemingly random fragrance all at the same time. Yeah, you should be suspicious of that. That's what I'm going to say. Let's get some actual, you know, hot takes on actual fragrances. Chanel has become somewhat irrelevant since it has not had a new release in ages, minus the Bleu de Chanel Parfum. I am a big fan of Bleu de Chanel Parfum, but I feel as though I was lucky with that fragrance. The reason why I like that so much is because it was the first ever Bleu de Chanel that suited me. If Bleu de Chanel and Bleu de Chanel Eau de Parfum didn't smell like bitter bananas on me, then I think that Bleu de Chanel Parfum probably would have been a bit of a disappointment, because I'd already sort of got these two great fragrances. But Bleu de Chanel Parfum is fantastic, and I think that it's a much more grown-up version of it. But I think that Chanel are biding their time. I don't think that Chanel need to release anything. I think that the whole Bleu de Chanel series is still such a mega hit, and they still make so much money in their makeup department. There's no real incentive for them right now, beauty-wise, to release a fragrance, because they're fine with makeup, they're completely fine with their clothing, they're making bank, they're making money. Sir Siage Sniffington says, buying a freshie and then complaining about the fragrance is like buying a pet skunk and then complaining that it smells. I kind of agree with that, actually. I think that that's fair enough. I think that with freshies and citrus fragrances, it's more like if you buy a beautifully profound, delicate fragrance that's a fresh fragrance, and then you complain about the projection longevity. That's problematic. So Burlington 1819, one of my favorite summertime fragrances of all time, one of the greatest, throw it in the Hall of Fame, doesn't last, but I don't expect it to last. The ethereal notes such as mint, to have it that high quality and that pristine, it's not going to last long. You have Mancera pushing out, and Montal pushing out some very, very long-lasting beast mode summer fragrances, but they're synthetic and they smell a bit trashy, but you'll get a long time out of them. So it really is your choice, quality over quantity. Okay, this is a spicy one. Creed's Aventus needs to go into retirement. Yeah, well, you know, I've seen a few people say that, and if it's making a ton of money, it's just not going anywhere. There is no such thing as overspraying if you're confident enough. Well, Michelle is to blame, isn't she, for a lot of that sort of thing.
Talking about projection, whoo, massive.
I know, I actually don't like overspraying because I feel as though it makes a bit too much of a statement, and I feel as though actually it could give the impression to some people that you're trying too hard. You know what I mean? Like, look at me, I've got my fragrance on, and I think that some people could start to think to themselves, well, you know, what is he overcompensating for? Ooh, 90% of men's fragrances post-2000 are terrible. Just lazy perfumery, uninspired, overly sweet, and unoriginal. That's false. You're wrong. That's false. We've had really incredible fragrances that have come into play post-2000 that have really, really revitalized the industry and that have changed the industry. I actually think that after 2000, there were more differences and there were more ideas thrown about. There was a lot more originality and there was a lot more versatility. Sure, we can look at all of the, you know, mainstream things like, you know, Sauvage, Blue Chanel, Aventus, and just the blue era of fragrances and go, it's all the same. But, you know, post-2000, especially post-2007, niche really started to pick up, and niche has had its influences on the designer world. Sure, a lot of fragrances are lazy perfumery and a lot of them are overly sweet, but there's way more than just 10% great fragrances after the year 2000. In fact, I actually say that the post-2000 era of men's perfumery has been more eclectic and more interesting than the pre-2000s era, because sure, 1970s, 1980s, rose-tinted glasses, great fragrances, really inspired fragrances, but there was definitely a lot of repetitiveness there. Many reviewers, oh god, here we go, another Fragcom one. Many reviewers are lazy and saying the same generalized info without providing useful descriptions. I'm tired of people saying Men in Black smells like Spice Bomb. They're two completely different fragrances. I've actually had this complaint. Maybe it's the same guy. Oh, you keep saying that Men in Black smells like Spice Bomb. No, I don't. I say that Men in Black smells like Spice Bomb Extreme. And they are not completely different fragrances. They have very similar notes, but they're utilized in a very, very different and interesting way. Many reviewers are lazy and say the same generalized info. Again, this is a problem. Like, if they're saying the same generalized info, that's probably good consistency, like, in the way of, if you want to know what a fragrance smells like, and you watch 3 reviews on, and all of them say the same thing, that's good. That means that when you buy the fragrance, you probably know what you're going to get because you've had 3 individual witnesses to this fragrance and they're saying a consistent thing. And my good friend James Epler, Durham 2020 will be vindicated as being way ahead of its time in men's fragrance trends. Also, Durham Sport 2022 is even better. James, mate, I love you, but very much, and you're very, very supportive of my videos, but I just don't think that's a particularly good take from my perspective. Let's try with your other take. There's not one fragrance in the YSL L'Homme or the Nuit de L'Homme line worth buying anymore. Not one. Now, that's a real spicy take. I think that we're closer to that reality than we have ever been, but I still think that the original La Nuit is fine, and I think that La Nuit de L'Homme Parfum has always been fine and always been great, just people don't take notes of it for some reason. Oh boy, we've got a paragraph here. People care way too much about what fragrances are sexy and wear a fragrance solely because it was on some random demi-rolling top 10 men's fragrances that make women weak. Wait, she's actually made that video? Hang on a second. It says that make women weak. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, bow tie fragrance guy, come on, really? What is, how, I don't know, like, if a woman smells a fragrance and she goes weak at the knees, she's probably allergic to one of the aroma chemicals and needs to be hospitalized immediately. Some of these titles, man. 10 seductive men's fragrances to make her melt. I know that it's metaphorical, but could you actually imagine that? Could you actually imagine, like, spraying on Durham 2020, you go to see your girlfriend, hello darling, how are you? Oh god, oh no, oh my god, oh god, this is the worst thing I've ever seen. My love, you've turned into liquid. This is like something from a horror film. Could you imagine that? Neighbours, the neighbours will, they'll I'll be all right. I swear to God, if I get a knock on the door now. I'm literally, this video has devolved into me looking at 10 women killer fragrances. What is the violence? This is... why are these titles so violent against women? And this is... What is it? It's like internalized misogyny. Demi Moore's got internalized misogyny, and she's just women killer fragrances. Oh my God, Virginia Woolf is just turning in a fucking grave at this point. 25 women just kill them. Just, you wear them and they die. As soon as you buy Mancera Cedroise, just, you're going to annihilate the women. You're going to kill these women via either giving them allergic reactions that make them fall to their knees, turning them into liquid in some sort of mad James Bond villain-esque way. They're just going to literally turn from solid into liquid. It's absolutely crazy. Why is it that these fragrance reviewers, most of the women with their internalized misogyny, are trying to convince you to buy fragrances that are going to murder other women? What convoluted plot of a massacre is this? I don't understand what's going on. Anyway, this is not what this video is about. This has devolved into madness. He looks so serious. He looks so serious. Make him weak. I love these people. It's just great. It's just... We're gonna buy. Today we're gonna be talking some fragrances. Today we're gonna be talking about some fragrances, and these women, they were strong. They might have even had a gym membership, but it doesn't matter. They're good at. We're gonna make them weak. Andrea just killing women, just murdering, and she looks really nice. She looks really, looks chilled about it. It's like women killers. If you just change those fragrances to like two just disturbed looking men. Women, did these men kill those women? In the latest episode of Unsolved Mysteries, did they kill these women killers? Is this a thing? Tour de Hermes is a... a woman repellent. These women can't catch a break with these fucking fragrances. But at least they're not killing them. At least we're not going on a murderous rampage against the fairer sex. We're at least only repelling them. Sort of like a positive and negative magnet. Tour de Hermes is to a negative magnet what a positive magnet is. It is a woman repellent. To the extent where if you battled it against Axe Link's Phoenix body spray, it would get bodies in a public reaction setting. Don't know what that means. Could somebody just look after the women? These fragile women are being slaughtered or viscerally, biologically affected by these fragrances. It's absolutely... We need to call a meeting with the United Nations to stop this in its tracks. While a great many fragrances have been cloned well, there has never been an adequate Aventus clone. I mean... probably. I mean, that's not a great one to end on, is it? I don't know how to end this now. Oh, here we go. Most female mainstream fragrances are absolute bullshit and pander to the most infantilizing part of the female personality. Metaleek by Tom Ford did it best. At this point, if you're one of my 5, I think now 6 female viewers, I'd just forget this whole thing. I mean, it's just unbridled misogyny is this whole fragrance thing. To be honest, I don't even know what you're looking to get out of this. Fragrances, either the ones that that are supplied to you are absolute bullshit and ponder to the most infantilizing part of it, just as the lowest common denominator. Oh, I'm going to put my hair in pigtails and go on the swings and make a daisy chain. So you're being insulted first. This is pure white knighting feminism that I'm getting into here. You're either being patronized by fragrances or you're getting murdered by them in various vicious and horrific ways. I don't even know how Demi Rawling and Andrea and Michelle, I don't know how they survive. I don't know how they're still walking, to be honest. So yes, absolutely incredible fragrance takes, and I think that we've learned quite a tremendous amount. Anyway, I hope that you've really enjoyed this video. This has been a fun video. Hope that you enjoyed, and see you very soon. Thanks very much. Bye.